Oh boy, he's got something else to say. Watch out. It's cooking bloke. I'm making an omelette, and whilst I'm making the omelette, I thought, well, I may as well impart some incredible information. Now, the thing is, what the vast majority of people don't know is that they are governed and ruled by their ego. And the ego is like a firewall which prevents anything that's mean or disruptive coming into their world. And so when people hear some things that they don't like, the ego inflames, the ego sends its sentries to guard itself from the information. Whatever's happening, we have an egoic reaction to things, people. Now, I'm always saying that one of the major things that people need to get abreast of in this life excursion is their own psychology. And how many of you don't know fuck all about your own psychology? And yet you think you know something about yourself. You think you know something about the world. Doesn't it sound to you to be fucking stupid beyond comprehension? If you don't know the machinations of the human psyche, how can you know any fucking thing, really? You can learn about biology and about physics and about this because all you're doing is just gathering up data. You're gathering up data and you're parrot fashioning it, and that's all you do. That's all scientists do, copycat motherfuckers. Unless one of them, 1 in 1,000, has like a thought of their own, and then they go, oh, let's try it this way, let's try it that way. Other than that, everybody's just a copycat motherfucker. But the thing is about philosophy, you think outside of the box. With human psychology, you analyse everything, what's in the fucking box. And by the time you've got abreast of the human psychology, then you'll have abreast on life, because that's all life is. It's the psychology, people. So, I'm always speaking about the great importance of the psychology. And if you guys don't know anything about your own psychology, then how can you know about the things that I'm saying? How can you know any of the things that's happening in the world? You really can't, can you? It just doesn't make any sense. And so why don't you just, seriously start to contemplate psychology and study psychology in all of its facets and the depth of it. It's a wonderful, incredible thing. And by the time you've got a bit of a handle on it, then you'll have a bit of a handle on the fiction of this life experience. Because you can see it all comes out of the fiction of the ego and the fiction of human consciousness. Because none of it's got any real substance to it, people. That's the thing that the casual Joe in the street has got no idea of. It's got no idea that we are living a fiction derived out of human consciousness and the fabricated operating system of the ego. Alright, oh damn, I forgot to put the pan on. This is the thing, isn't it, people? This is the thing. This is why we have to know that this world is a complete and utter fiction, and the powers that be, the clever ones on this earth, the most conscious people, they don't want the people in the street to know this. Because if they did want them to know it, then they'd be instructing us in our own psychology. They'd be instructing us in our supernatural being, essence, and all the rest of it. They'd be instructing us in so many other things, but they don't. They don't instruct us in any of that. They instruct us in how to work in factories, and how to do math, and how to speak articulately so we can express what they want us to say. That's all it's about in this dimension. And when someone like me talks out of the box, it's mostly incomprehensible to people like you that have been in the box all your lives. I'm speaking from a different state of consciousness. I'm speaking from a different dimension, aren't I? That's the thing, people. So, when I was speaking earlier about these acorns, come on. I'm saying that some of these acorns, they popped out and they're absolutely thriving and they're doing great, whilst others are lying dormant and they may never even pop out. But then when I break the acorn out of the shell, and I see that it has a tiny little protrusion there. So this may be like some of you. You are just like, this is you coming out of your shell. And this is a bit like a Democrat's arsehole, you know, an anal retentive Democrat's arsehole, trying to squeeze out a bit of truth, which they're very reluctant to do, of course, because they're anal retentives. They want to keep any semblance of truth in, and they only want to spill lies out, you see. But if you are like this, then you are starting to germinate. And you will start to grow. But if you haven't had the help of the awakened brave has broken this nut out of this shell. Some of you don't have the energy to be able to penetrate the shell. Some of you can't muster up the energy. You can only go and that doesn't work. That's not enough. So therefore you will rot in this shell. You will never be able to emancipate yourself from the shell, and so you won't be a little sapling like that, and you won't grow into a magnificent, powerful oak tree. And so I use a lot of metaphors in what I say, people. I use a lot of illustration. And I use a lot of tactics, because what I've come to understand, people, is that the softly approach just doesn't fucking cut it. It really doesn't. You know, listening to Rupert fucking Spira, you'll barely learn a single fucking thing. And you know, I've listened to him droning on in his superficial bullshit manner, in which he does, and then when he gets asked questions, he ums and ahs and fucking farts around all over the place and doesn't come up with anything which is significant and important and helpful. Just a fucking freak show, really. A charlatan. And yet, you know, these charlatans are the ones that are out there driving around fucking Rolls Royces and living in mansions, because people buy into that shit. And they buy into it because they're comfortable with the delivery, you see. Now this is the whole thing. This is the road I won't travel upon. I won't travel upon the bullshit road. I won't be trying to appease every single one of your fickle and scared egoic facets. I just won't do it. I'm not appeasing your ego firewall, whereby People have got to deliver things in a nice way, in a subtle way, in a respectful way, and, you know, not in a forceful way. And if we want to think about it, then we can, and if we don't, then we won't. And we might need to think about these things a long time. I know that I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's not my market. My market is you. You're my market. Of course you are. You're my fucking market. And, you know, it appears that most of you, you know, like this no-nonsense bullshit. I'm not fucking around with your fucking firewall. I blast through your fucking firewall. And I say your firewalls have got no fucking power to resist the things I'm going to be saying. These things I'm going to be saying are just blasting the fuck out of your firewall. So forget that you even fucking have one. Because as far as I'm concerned, you don't. So, if any of you have the stomach for my videos after your firewall has been obliterated, which it appears that about 300 of you do, then just like these little acorns which are sending out the first tentative, searching, feeling, explorative tendrils into the world out there. Well, that's what some of you are like. You just, you're putting it out there like a snail's antennae. And then it touches something, it goes back in because it's all scared and this, that and the other. You know, because you've been told to be scared about every fucking thing. You've never been told that you're the cosmos. And that's the difference, isn't it? That's why I come in. I come in and I'm telling you the cosmos. Consciousness is cosmos. That's it. Fucking period. End of story. But because you've been poisoned and because you've been listening to too many idiots all your life, then you find what I say, you know, quite disturbing. You're not comfortable with it, but you keep on looking because Spirit is telling you to keep looking. Spirit is telling you, the ones that stick around, that there's something worthwhile in what I'm saying. And so any shrinking violets, they're long gone. Any silly Christians, they're long gone. You know, any idiots like that, they're long gone. But you stick around because your spirit, your higher self is overriding your ego. And it's saying to your ego, fuck your firewall. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying fuck your firewall, and your higher self is saying fuck my firewall. Because between the two of us, we know what is the right portal to enable you to grow and flourish like a fucking 1,500 year oak tree. And you know, it's a funny thing, because I can labour about my comments and, you know, just showing that you heard what I said, because that's what that does. It shows me that, oh, I hear you, Aaron. But if you don't do that, I can see obviously that you're not hearing anything. And if you're not hearing anything, then I have to start shouting louder, don't I? So if you don't want me to call you all the cunts under the sun, if you're tired of that, then you have to start doing this then. You have to start going, yay, we get it, Aaron, we get it. Yeah, it's cool, you know, this, that and the other. Otherwise, if I don't get any echo back from you, I think, well, these idiots are still fast a fucking sleep. So I have to shout louder, I have to be more obnoxious, and I have to call you more different varieties of cunt under the sun. Because I know that that's what you respond to. Isn't it a funny world? Isn't consciousness a funny fucking thing? Isn't the human psyche a funny fucking thing? And don't you think we're in a fucked up world when the biggest platform on the world doesn't even allow you to say idiot or fool? It doesn't matter the context. The bots see fool, the bots see idiot, and they just take your comment down. And oh, it's all for your protection, it's all for your security. What on earth is it really about? But making everybody into such fragile dispositions that people can't even call them a fool or an idiot. If you can imagine a world with people like that, which are so fragile and nobody would ever dare call anybody an idiot, then what sort of mediocrity are we going to have? We're going to have putty in the hands of the fucking hierarchical system. That's what they want you to be. And so if you want that to happen to you and your children, well, just go with it and give them all the energy that they so desire. If you don't want that to happen to your children, if you want your children to be able to state the obvious, that most people are fucking idiots and they're fools, and the freedom of speech, then you have to fight for that, people. And you have to say, no, stop. Stop Google, stop YouTube. And one day, there'll be an alternative. There really will. And whether it's going to be the so-called saviours of the world, like Trump and Musk and all that. But you know, when you look at Musk with his Neuralink, well, that's exactly what the powers that be want to happen to the world. So for those of you that are thinking Musk is a hero because he seems to be a renegade and he seems to be belligerent and he seems to be on your side, he is not on your fucking side. He's on his side, and he's on the billionaire's side that pay into his coffers, that fund his expeditions to whatever he's fucking doing. You see, because it doesn't matter how wealthy anyone is, people. If the powers that be don't want you to exist, then you won't fucking exist. If they allow you to exist, it's because they want you to, because you're serving them. So anybody that's thinking Musk is a fucking hero, you're delusional, you're idiots. You just haven't really got abreast of what actually is going on in the world. Because the world is owned by people, and if you listen to Musk, you can listen to Musk and people will ask him, well, what's going on here with this liberalist bullshit, and what's going on here with this and that? Nobody knows. Why don't they know? Maybe it's because the world is being run and manipulated by archons, by invisible fucking interdimensional fucking beings. Because nobody seems to know who the fuck is doing this and that. Because human consciousness is a very, very convoluted thing. Human consciousness is very, very complex. And so, well, Musk says, well, there's so many fingers in pies, there's so many people with their own personal interests that have got money that are doing this and doing that, yeah. So who's doing everything? Well, it could be archons, or it could just be, you know, manipulators, but power-hungry manipulators that just want the world in a certain way. And the greatest thing that they want is for the individual, the human being, the masses, to be completely subservient to them. That's what they want. And if you allow that to happen, then, you know, you are sacrificing all of your children. And you're sacrificing their prospects and their future and their individuality and their rights and their humanisms and all this. You're sacrificing all of that. So if you have a problem with my delivery, which is sharp and shocking and to the point, then you have been so conditioned by the manipulators that you simply are beyond retrieving. You are a soul, you are an ego which is beyond retrieving. Because what happens is your soul and your ego become so sensitive. And you can't stand anybody saying anything mean to you, and you don't want anything said mean to you and all this. Well, for fuck's sake, grow the fuck up. Get out in the fucking world. Nobody gives a fuck about your emotions. Nobody gives a fuck about your emotions except them up there, which want to manipulate the fuck out of them. So For fuck's sake, people, grow the fuck up. That's what I'm saying. And so on the one hand, I'll tell you that you're a bunch of fucking muppets. And on the other hand, I'm always trying to raise you up, aren't I? I'm always trying to raise you the fuck up. But you're so fucking annoying with your stubborn numptiness and your indoctrination and your allegiance to those people that want to send you to hell. That they want to incarcerate you and all of your offspring in hell. And you just give them the allegiance. It's pathetic, it's sickening to the soul. Wow! The awakened brain has got an awesome omelette. And it's got French fries in the oven. That is going to be tasty as fuck. And it's got chilies in. And it's got a decent dose of seasoning. Come on, fucking lay it on me, man. Lay it on me, dude. Yeah, okay, so the fries, they're done. The omelette's done. Let's put a plate in the microwave. Plate in the microwave. Let's get the fries out, shall we? Let's salt up the fries. Let's take that off the heat. Turn that off. Turn that off. Right. Got the chips. Fries. Salt. Oh yeah. Can you see it's happening, people? Can you see what's happening? Alright. I think I should leave that on the heat a little bit more. Whilst waiting for the plate to warm up. Still not lost any subscribers, by the way. What can we say? What can we say is that somewhere deep within inside you, your spirits know what is good for you. And that's why you're sticking around. Now then, I'm going to chop up a bit of this coriander. Chop a bit of that up. Yep, it's all good. And then come down here. I'm going to sprinkle this all over there. Coriander, fresh coriander. Can't beat it. Then hot plate out of the oven, and it doesn't really matter. Now look at that, yeah. Then and the rest, ladies and gentlemen, is history. You don't need to see the rest, do you? Use your imagination.